There were a lot of great events over the course of this weekend. Aggies by the thousands came together to help the community they call home for 4 years at least. But that wasn't the only big event. There were annual huge Easter egg hunts and celebrations of military service. Lots of people, lots of families coming together and maybe, just maybe, on occasion, an expression of appreciation and love. There was also a memorial service for Kevin Garcia, the College Station convenience store clerk assaulted at and kidnapped from Drew's Exxon at Highway 6 and University earlier this month, a 55-year-old who died before he should have. Saturday, friends, colleagues, and family remembered him, and they heard a message that everyone can take to heart.
We've all been in situations where the question why or the question what happened was right to ask. This doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make any sense, the things that have taken place. But what I do know is this: there is both good and evil in the world. Good things happen to bad people, and bad things happen to good people. And because there's evil in the world, then we, each one of us here today, must overcome evil with good. We overcome evil with kindness and with hope and with doing what's right.
I had the honor of working with Kevin for the last 14 years. He watched my children grow up, and even though he worked the night shift and didn't see them much as they got older, when he found out my son had joined the Marines, he would always ask me where he was now and how he was doing. And when my daughter graduated high school, he said he better get an invitation, and he got one, and he came. Kevin used to joke that I was like the mom of the store, and then he would giggle and say, "See, you're older than me." Oh, he thought he was so funny. I remember when I would count the money, he always asked me to put aside the dollar bills with the letter I on them. I didn't know the significance of the I, but I would put them aside anyway, and he would swap them with the dollar bills he carried in his bank bag for just such an occasion. He loved stamping his bills for where'sgeorge.com. I couldn't even begin to speculate how many he may have marked, but it comforts me to know that a part of Kevin will be circulating the world for many years to come. And if you ever come across a dollar bill with a little red Garfield on it, know that you are holding a little piece of heaven's heart in your hands. I think that if Kevin were here, what he would want you to take away from this is to not only tell your friends and family how much you love and appreciate them, but to practice random acts of kindness so it's never too late to let someone know that they are special.
His persistence in getting this job, keeping this job, is something that I've shared with my children and other young people when they're out looking for a job. I really appreciated when he was here. I never really worried about what happened at the store. I knew he was going to take care of it because this was his shift. And that's how he referred to it. It was his shift. We had an altercation a few years after he had been here. A guy decided he wanted to get the money out of the register with a hammer. And watching the film the next day, the guy gets around the counter, Kevin gets by him. We had a nice stand of Red Bulls up here by the door, and I'm watching the video and Kevin starts slinging them at this guy. This guy was more afraid of Kevin than Kevin was afraid of him. He was just not going to allow this guy to get to us. I watched it the next morning and I told him there's nothing in this store worth you risking your life over. But he just bristled at that idea. He was very hard-headed and stubborn. I'm going to miss him.
What Kevin would want is for you to love everybody and let everybody know you love them. Kevin didn't hear that from people. Kevin did not know he was loved. But by the outpouring that I have seen, I know that he was loved. It'll heal my heart. It'll make the pain. It'll still hurt, but it'll make it easier. When I see that tree, I can't wait to see that tree get big. I should have left before Kevin since I'm 9 years older. But he would still protect me as like a little sister. Next time you hear thunder, That's probably God talking to Kevin or Kevin talking back to God. And just don't forget him. He was a good guy. He really was. That's all. It means everything. Everything. It helps the heart heal. It doesn't lessen the pain. But it makes you know I will make it tomorrow now. My brother won't, but I will. And the family. But to have everybody come out here like this, it's unbelievable. It's unimaginable because Kevin did not know he had any friends at all. I cannot stress that enough. That if you know somebody and you love them, tell them. Don't wait. It would have been nice if Kevin had heard that. And I'm sure, he talked to people, he saw people, he smiled, they smiled back. But when he went back to his apartment, he thought it was just him and George, and that nobody loved him. He told me that many times. And I tried telling him, yes, Kevin, you are loved. Well, I don't see it, but that's Kevin. He would be happy right now. Well, he does see us, but he would be happy.